We should.
Yeah, I think I could probably do like, we could go for like 10 minutes. I
Yeah,
think.
man, let's do it. Let's geek out. So if you guys are watching this and you haven't watched our wonderful hour-long conversation, this is myself, Brian Holiday, with my awesome guest, Dr. Justin Ross, and we just discussed all things COVID. 6 months later, we did one in. Oh wait, what's 14 minus 6? So 8 August.
August, yeah.
So we did a conversation in August and we followed up now in February. Great conversation. So you guys can go check that out on the channel. And now if you guys are watching me on Twitter right now talking with Justin, we're going to geek out a bit because every time we never get the chance to fully geek out because
this is true.
We don't get the, so
there are other things more important. Some would say more important. Some would say less important, depending on who you ask.
As a geek, I say equally important. I need to do both. I need to geek out. I can't imagine not doing Geektastic Cypher on a weekly basis. Speaking of mental health and needing to do stuff for my mental health,
that's
those ones that I need to do. You were just talking about WandaVision. It's a show that me and the boys on Geektastic Cypher talk about a lot. We actually do on Fridays. We do a special segment just for WandaVision now.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
We do the show on Wednesdays, and then on Fridays, our episodes come out on Fridays. But then Friday evening, we do a special WandaVision, and we're thinking about turning into just a MCU because Falcon Winter Soldier is going to start up.
All these things are coming out.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's really gotten me a bit more because I was never a big. I mean, I loved comics when I was a kid. Like the comics, I feel like that I saw when I was a kid was like the Jim Lee era.
Oh yes,
X-Men. So that was kind of like what I feel like was very much the thing that I saw a lot, and then DC. I mean, I think at that time it was mostly just like the Tim Burton Batman movies that I saw, like at least when I was a kid. But it was mostly like really X-Men animated series was like huge. When every weekend that was what I was watching. But then as I got older, I think I just got more into like the DC like one-off books, like Dark Knight Returns and like Long Halloween. Like I got more interested in that and less the Marvel universe in comics where it's like, so it's issue 3000. And we're at the 14th iteration of Iron Man, and it's just like I preferred like a story with an ending. And then the movies came out, and like they're good. It's just, and I would always go see them, but I kind of wasn't really that into it recently. But then WandaVision, I started watching again. I was like, hey, it's making me think about it more. And my sister had never seen any of the Marvel movies, and recently now she's watching them in like chronological order.
Okay,
which is interesting because you brought that up recently.
Yeah,
I think Reese like release first. So she's doing chronological order, and I'm looking at her list, and I was like, the beginning of your chronology is you're having to have a really hard time. Like the first third of these movies is like skip basically all of the Iron Mans. Like just skip 2 and 3. Don't watch them. Don't. Watch one, but it's fine.
Well, we just did on an episode of Geektastic. I wasn't in the segment, but the guys talked about it because one of the guys, his girlfriend, is watching similarly WandaVision, and they're trying to figure out like, do you need? And I think I even posted a question.
Do you need to?
Yeah. Do you need to watch all 23 Infinity Saga films to watch WandaVision?
To appreciate it?
Yeah.
I think it's tough to say because like I think really if you start at, because now like I was looking at her list and I think if you start at Avengers,
interesting.
Like you don't need much of a backstory from that. Like Captain America, I think is an interesting one to watch just in terms of like, I think it's one of the better ones, like the first Captain America, the first Avenger movie. But then going from Avengers going forward, like Infinity Stones in the Thor world are there, but like I think like once you have Avengers and you get into Guardians of the Galaxy and then Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and then you're starting to go down that route where like Infinity Stones are in every single movie and they're basically a key part of every plot point and you're figuring out where they are. I think if you started there, you skip about a third of them because it's like how much character development are you getting? Let's say out of Thor, for example, in 1 and 2 versus the Avengers. Do you know any more about Thor? A little bit. You know who Loki is.
I said though, Thor 2 seems important to me because you get the stone in Thor 2.
You do. So you do get the stone. It's true.
But I'm not mad at the idea that if you watch the Avengers films, if you watch just the Avengers films and all the Captain America films, because Cap does have the interaction with all the members of the team.
Especially Civil War. That's like basically an Avengers movie.
Oh,
it's essentially an Avengers movie.
I have that debate with people all the time. You know
Everyone's
what? I'll ask you this. I'll put this to you.
Okay.
Best trilogy. Nolan's Batman or Captain America's trilogy? So first Avenger, Winter Soldier, and then Civil War.
It's hard. They're so different. I mean, like I think,
sure. But
I
which
think,
one
like,
would you rather watch?
honestly, now probably the Captain America one, only because I think Dark Knight Rises is so bad. I've never rewatched it, and it's like 3 hours long. I'm not interested in watching that again. I saw it in the theater, and I left. I was like,
oh shit, really?
I was really disappointed with it.
I always trick people when I ask that question, because I always say trick question because Captain America is not a trilogy, and people get mad at me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't consider it a trilogy when the first one is his movie, the second one is a buddy cop movie with him, Black Widow and Falcon, and then the third one is just
Avengers.
It doesn't count. I don't feel like he had don't get me wrong, it's a trilogy, but Iron Man has an actual trilogy. Iron Man has an arc of his character over 3 films. Captain America, I don't feel like, I know my partner says it and other people have said it. Well, his arc is his interaction with Bucky. The first one is, and I did agree with people. People have told me that the Captain America trilogy is actually the Bucky trilogy. And I like that spin on it because Bucky dies, Winter Soldier, and then Civil War. Those are all Bucky based, and him and Cap. And I feel like it's as much. At least
they go hand in hand. He's an integral part to every story. I think that's for sure. But I definitely like Winter Soldier. It was fine when I was like, wait till you get to Winter Soldier, Andrew. Like my sister, like this is next level. I rewatched it again recently. And it's so good. So fun. It's just like it feels like Mission Impossible. It feels like any of these type of action spy movies. Like this isn't a Marvel movie, but it is, and it's amazing. It's funny because Captain America couldn't give a shit about him in the comics, at all. Not someone I ever cared about, but in the MCU, I think he's one of the characters I took to the most. Chris Evans did such a good job playing him. Very sympathetic.
Yeah,
and on the opposite side, like, we're talking about WandaVision. I think similarly, like Elizabeth Olsen. Like Scarlet Witch, also amazing. Such an interesting character.
Her version of Wanda Maximoff, fantastic.
Yeah. Very, very like it's you're starting to really see. And I think the one thing that does help is at least seeing the movies that she's in to kind of get a sense of like this is someone who's very powerful, doesn't know how powerful she is. It's kind of you see glimpses of it.
Yeah.
Like little snippets of like, okay, this is a serious individual, but has never really been able to maximize. Exactly. It's like they're driving a Ferrari at like 50 miles per hour.
Yeah.
But in this case, you finally see like, okay, she's a next level type of being. And it's really fun just to focus all in on her and her drama. But it's awesome. I watched them all like yesterday.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a TV show in a very long time. I did all of them.
Oh my God. Okay. So for someone who
except for the most recent one, which I just saw the intro, which was like it looks like a Modern Family. Is it Modern Family? Okay, Modern
it's
Family.
A mix between Modern Family, The Office, and Arrested Development.
Okay, yeah. So I just saw the intro. I was like, all right, so I'll watch the rest of this. But yeah, I watched the Malcolm in the Middle one. That was the last one I'd seen, which was really fun.
So you got to see the big reveal at the end of, I guess, episode 5, where Pietro returned.
Yes, Quicksilver comes in.
How did that feel for you? 1, when you saw Pietro or Quicksilver, and 2, when it was revealed which one it was.
I mean, I think this is a great way to integrate like the rights of the other, like the X-Men universe that had previously existed, because it seems like everyone's saying WandaVision is going to kickstart the third phase. All the seeds are going to be planted here where we're going to go to the next level. And whatever phase, million phase it is. And this like notion of like multiverses and cosmic phases of Marvel. And you're seeing this even just like in cast that they're listing of other movies, like with like the next Spider-Man, like every Spider-Man's in it. Tobey Maguire's in it.
That's
Andrew Garfield's in it.
I still don't believe it yet, but
we'll see. I think hopefully that's kind of cool, because then it's like, is this just like, and then the Doctor Strange multiverse movie, like, is this just like people being brought in from different universes, and is that how they're going to introduce these characters? That's kind of what I was thinking. I know like it seems like a lot of people are like, he's not really him, he's somebody else.
Yeah.
And I hope that's not the case, because then that kind of sucks when like you kind of like guess the twist, which is never but I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. But hopefully
I'm still
he's.
waiting. I can tell you. I mean, not to. Hopefully, this isn't a bad thing, but I'm telling you, you didn't. You don't. I don't know, and I've watched episode 7.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I say that without feeling like I'm spoiling something for you. I'm just telling you what I don't know yet. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think I definitely agree with you. I'm not mad at the idea of integrating all those universes together.
Yeah.
I'm just worried that people are so gung ho about the idea that they might get disappointed when it doesn't happen exactly the way they want. Because I don't think, like, for example, the Tobey Maguire stuff. Mobs. Him and I talk about it all the time, and he's on Reddit way more than I am, and he's always telling me like, "Hey, so this rumor just came out on Reddit, and this rumor just came out on Reddit," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And one of the big rumors was like, we have pictures of Toby on set of the new Spider-Man film, and then a couple weeks later, they were just like, Tobey Maguire in negotiations to be in the third Spider-Man film, and that's when Mobs was just like, I don't understand. If they had pictures of him on set, why are they saying that he's in negotiations right now? And I was just like,
yeah,
that's it. So it's stuff like that that has me wondering, is it happening? I agree with you. I want it to happen. I think
it'd be cool. I think you're talking about Captain America. I think the other character in the MCU that I think is most interesting is Spider-Man. I think they did such a good job. Both movies were amazing.
Yeah.
I like them both a lot. I mean, first one was better than the second in my opinion, but I think this is Spider-Man. He's a kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was such a fun, like, coming of age, like, high school superhero movie that was like genuinely funny, sweet, but also quite scary. Like, both villains, Michael Keaton, terrifying, as was Jake Gyllenhaal too. I think did a really good job of being a fucking scary person. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next one. And if they do intertwine all these people, like, hey, I think that's the right person to be doing it with, would be with a Spider-Man movie. So no, those are definitely my two favorite people.
You mentioned the magic name, Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Rumors have it that he might be tagged into the DCEU to come back as a version of Batman, Bruce Wayne.
All about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's what I was gonna ask you. What are your thoughts? How do you feel?
Love Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah,
he's the best.
Yeah,
he's so good. And then I rewatched that one actually too, like the first Tim Burton. And just hearing the score, like and I felt like I was a kid again. Where that was the first, I think, time I saw like a superhero on television.
Yeah.
And it was like my mind was completely blown. And it was like, it's such a stylized take on Batman, but I think that's the right way that they needed to do. Because before that was Superman, which was
the '78 Superman, and
which
then
is like
equals,
which is fine. But this was kind of like a darker, very appropriate thing for that time, like early 90s, late 80s. And you got Prince in it.
I know.
Prince is doing the whole soundtrack.
It was so
weird.
McDonald's begged them to make it happier because they wanted to sell the toys.
Yes, all the toys.
I was just
Prince in it. It's awesome. And like, because of Michael, and I watched Batman Returns as well. Also great. You know, it's like, and I think Michael Keaton is such a good Batman.
Yeah, he did.
So I'm happy.
And if they do a Batman Beyond where he has a Terry,
he's mentoring him. I think that'd be dope. That'd be really, really fun because he's a very underrated actor that I think is having his little resurgence now. And I'd love to see him as that old Bruce Wayne, because like they tried that with Affleck, like, oh, he's old. Even with Christian Bale in Dark Knight Rises, when it's like, I'm old Bruce Wayne. It's like, fuck, I don't believe this. I don't believe you. You're not that old. And I think that's why I didn't. Like, I think that's why those iterations of Batman at that point didn't. Yeah. You need an old man. You need the real, like, you need the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight Returns.
The Miller.
An old dude. That's what you need to like be like, hey, he's still like, it's like a Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven.
Oh,
it's like an old gunslinger who like doesn't have much left in the tank, but like doesn't really have anything to lose.
Yeah.
And I think Michael Keaton could do that. He seems He seems up to the challenge.
Like you just said, we've seen him bring it. He brought it in Birdman. He brought it in, when he did Vulture. We've seen him be that character. So, dude, this is so much fun talking with you. I do have to go myself too. I know you have to go. One last thing. What's the geek thing you're looking forward the most right now? Most like Falcon movies, anything. What's the biggest geek thing you're looking forward to?
This is a good question. The biggest geek thing I'm looking forward to, honestly, I'm not even going to go like in superhero territory. I'm going to go with like, I'm looking forward to New Japan Pro Wrestling mixing with All Elite Wrestling. That's very exciting for me. I love Japanese wrestling, and to see it more featured in North America, that's something
huge.
that really excites me. So that's they've just started like brokering working relationships together, and like they're like one of their big villains just appeared on one of these like smaller US wrestling shows, which is not supposed to happen. So I'm excited about that. That's my geek thing, Japanese wrestling.
I don't know anything about wrestling anymore. I haven't been in it for a second, but that does sound super cool because I did love it when I was younger. If you're a wrestling fan, go watch Young Rock, the Young Rock series that he just came out.
Okay, yeah.
First episode, behind the scenes stuff of when he was a kid, when his dad's hanging out with Iron Sheik, Andre the Giant walks in. It's great scenes. Great scenes.
All right, I'll check it out.
That's pretty much it, man. Thank you so much. Once again, if you guys are watching this, just finished doing a live discussion with Justin about COVID and all that stuff. That's available on my channel, brianholiday.com. You can go check it out. And if you're watching this or listening to this or checking us out, subscribe. Get involved. You know, I'm going to have Justin back soon, and we'll hopefully get to talk geek stuff again sometime soon. Justin, thank you so much, man. Always a pleasure talking with you.
Ditto, buddy. Take care, man.
Take care, man. Bye.
See ya.